the tables for top 8, and within a few minutes Piper was sort of stood up like, yep, we're good to go. We're going to take a little break before top 4, and obviously, as we saw here on the stream, taking care of business once again against Drew Kennett when it came to dealing with that Reggie deck. Reggie falling at the final hurdle. I've not been able to talk about it yet this weekend, but this deck also really exciting. Having a look at Piper's achievements, look at those performances in 2022. Top 32, top 32, and top 64, so really good international finishes. But back in 2015, taking care of business in 3 regionals, looking to add one of those here in the Masters division.
Of course, playing the Radiant Charizard Inteleon deck, this being Piper's first full year in the Masters division. She picked things up with kind of the weird half season in 2022, having some really strong finishes, and everyone recognized, okay, she is a solid, very good player. And it was just a matter of time before she finally broke through to the top 8, and here she is in the finals.
And speaking of breakthrough players, we also have Isaac Milaski, her opponent in this one, running that new Mew variant. Last year, having a top 32 finish in Milwaukee, but in 2018, some really good finishes at regionals too. Top 4, top 8, top 16 across Roanoke, Philadelphia, and Anaheim, respectively. So a player who did age up not too long ago, not one of those with like 5-10 years experience in the Masters division, being able to put on good performances. Mew VMAX with the Pokestop, giving up those Fusion Strike energies in lieu of the double turbo and a lot more useful item cards.
And the big story here is those powerful item cards and the fact that you can access them so easily with the new Pokestop Stadium. This deck only made possible thanks to that new Pokemon Go expansion.
Well, the prize is hitting, and one big noticeable one there for Piper is going to be that rare candy.
One of.
With, yeah, there's only one in the deck, and it's not going to be accessible for very, very late. Cross Switcher, Sobble, Raihan, a card that's been very, very important, along with Scoop Up Net and an Engie. But for Isaac, it's going to be kind of a pretty balanced one. One of the Battle VIP passes, a couple of balls, Quick Ball and Ultra Ball, respectively, a Cramomatic and a Genesect, along with the Trekking Shoes. So nothing too drastic, I think, in the prizes for either outside of that rare candy, which could slow down some of these explosive turns that we've seen from Piper in her previous streamed rounds.
And here we go, Adam. The match is underway. The Masters Finals. And Piper is going to kick things off, starting a Sobble, getting this game underway.
Yeah, going to want to get that bench nice and full. Looking at the options in the hand, just an immediate pass.
Not much working for Piper over there on turn 1.
Yeah, but the Oricorio is in the active for Isaac. It's probably going to be a longer turn here, I think it's safe to say. Plenty of work that he can do. We can already see a number of options in the hand. There's the Trekking Shoes, taking a look, discarding the boss's orders, and grabbing that double turbo energy right off the top. I already know that he's got more to go in this one. There's plenty of options to discard, actually. I think some of the damage numbers aren't needed as much. The Cross Switcher being discarded for the Cramomatic, which is going to come up at tails. So Isaac, you're going through a number of options there in his hand. But he's now looking, at things he may want to try and switch around. There's another Cross Switcher in there, but the Quick Ball is something he's looking at and lingering over. So giving up on a pair of Cross Switchers. Finally, he gets to go in the deck.
And there's one in the prizes as well. So Cross Switcher really not going to be an option for Isaac this game unless we see some Silene shenanigans bringing them back. I do think this hand looks pretty weak, though. These last 3 cards, not things that I feel like are playable. Maybe can draw 1 card from the Fusion Strike system. This turn looks very, very different because Isaac flipped tails on that Cramomatic.
I think the Cramomatic would have been huge there. And giving one of those cross switches kind of, makes it obvious how Isaac wants to play this game, right? He wants to be able to just attack whatever is in front, and he should be able to very easily get that knockout. Drops the 2 power tablets, attaches the double turbo energy, so that Oricorio will be able to retreat later on, but nothing off that Fusion Strike system for 2 that he's feeling really good about. That said, Piper is now able to play a supporter. She's going in the deck with the Irida for a water Pokemon. That's something that would be really beneficial in this matchup, and an item card as well. So I think we're actually going to see quite a large turn out of Piper here.
And we definitely could see a Keep Calling to close this turn out, and I think her grab of the Drizzile here maybe signifies that. That is an option. For the next turn. She could evolve the active this turn, but by holding onto the Drizzile, using Keep Calling, filling the bench up, she's going to have a much more powerful turn 2. Turn 3, excuse me.
Yeah, we're getting a good few turns into this game. Quick attach into the Keep Calling, a quick look through the deck as well, a check of the hand, maybe just making sure some of those counts are good. But we are back over to Isaac with the Oricorio.
What a top deck there. That Ultra Ball makes Isaac's hand actually playable. Otherwise, he just had Boss's Orders and Cross Switcher, was going to just have to Fusion Strike system system maybe for 1 if the top deck was playable. So the Ultra Ball lets him thin the hand out quite a bit more, and we can see 3 new cards.
And one of the Pokemon he's going to grab off that Ultra Ball, of course, discarding the 2, is the Mew V. So it does need to get one of those rolling as the attacker in this deck. But it does now mean it's an extra card off the Fusion Strike system, and that could be really, really big here. If you can draw into something really impactful, then you're going to be feeling a lot better about this turn. But neither player really exploding into this game just yet. There's the Fusion Strike system for another Mew V, a Pokestop, and another Ultra Ball. So the Pokestop may have to go down if he wants to keep playing this turn. But for now, I mean, there's no immediate threat over on Piper's side. Here comes the Pokestop, immediately activated for an Ultra Ball, a Battle VIP Pass, and the Cross Switcher as well. That's a lot of cross switches are gone here, so Isaac is not going to have access to that.
That is
any
that
point
4th
in the
copy.
game.
Yeah, it was Piper that had the copy of Cross Switcher in the prizes. So I think Isaac probably just going to be fine to discard it, unless he really wants to hold on to it for Silene or something like that.
I don't know about that one. It's going away with that Battle VIP Pass. That's going to allow him to go back into the deck with the Ultra Ball and pull up another Genesect V. That means there's another round of the Fusion Strike system available. I'm going to be able to draw up to 5 this time, so those hands looking a whole lot healthier after the use of that ability. That said, still missing another energy attachment if you did want to go after this Sobble in the active. Doesn't look like I'm seeing any energy come through. The only one that we've seen so far, the Double Turbo, being thrown down onto that Oricorio.
You're going to have to wait a turn as well, since both of these Mew came into play this turn, and this deck does not have the explosive power of Meloetta. There's no Fusion Strike energies, anything like that. It is totally reliant on these Mew VMAXs being able to have a turn to come into play and evolve.
And Isaac retreating the Oricorio, discarding the Double Turbo energy, putting the Mew up. It's going to be easier, a bit harder, sorry, for Piper to knock out that Mew V than it is that Oricorio, which I think would be a lot more. That Oricorio also providing longer value on the bench with its ability being able to put up a little bit of defense. But another Irida for Piper Lepine, so able to find more pieces of things that are required. A Drizzle and the Hisuian Heavy Ball, the option here. Hisuian Heavy Ball diving right on in there to take a look in the prizes and see what pieces she would like to grab. There is, of course, that Sobble in there, so full complement of Sobble on the field, and confirmation, of course, that the rare candy is in there.
Yes, and that is a big deal in this spot, because otherwise Piper would be able to theoretically launch an attack off this turn. Could Rare Candy into Inteleon, use that Shady Dealings ability to fetch out an Energy Search, which would then grab the energy card needed, and then could let her swing with an Aqua Bullet. Now this turn, it's not going to really be much of an option for Piper to do any damage at all. I don't think we're going to be seeing any double spins.
No, and then you did note the Rare Candy in a much more favorable position with most trainers drawing their prizes bottom upwards. A lot of Shady Dealings coming through. The Mew also hitting the bench, maybe trying to get some Mysterious Tails walked in. An Energy Search coming through as well, immediately being played to grab that Fire Energy. So Piper getting a lot of energy out, but access to the Inteleon is going to be a little bit of a stretch right now. This is going to be another turn where Piper doesn't get to attack and gives Isaac a little more wiggle room to try and set up one of these Mew V Maxes.
And this is kind of how Piper's deck functions most of the time. It's not very aggressive, though you can have the option to go in quickly with Inteleon, with the Rare Candy. It really is a deck that does not mind going behind, does not mind playing from behind, and it really does get powered up the more prizes your opponent takes thanks to that Radiant Charizard.
If you give up a few prizes, your Radiant Charizard looking a whole lot better, being able to drop some of those colorless energy requirements. The Mew being put into the active with the Attach and Retreat on this Sobble, then of course the Mysterious Tail activating, and the Level Ball coming right through. That allows Piper to keep on going through the deck potentially, but not this turn as she passes it back to Isaac.
Isaac drawing for turn is a Mew V, so that could fill the bench, so we could see more card draw from the Fusion Strike systems. And if I'm Isaac and Piper's, not had the quick Aqua Bullet turns, you really want to try to capitalize. Start swinging as quickly as possible, though it will power up Piper's Charizard. You got to start attacking at some point.
Yeah, he is going to start thinning out that hand with the Ultra Ball as well, discarding the Battle VIP Pass first and the Switch as the second card required. Being able to go in, grab any Pokemon, of course the Mew VMAX, the much preferred option here. So being able to grab that out and thin the hand at the same time, feeling pretty good going to be able to, of course, start using those Genesects again. Fusion Strike system bringing you up to the full complement of 6, the maximum available, which makes sense when every Pokemon in your deck is a Fusion Strike Pokemon.
Absolutely. One of the most powerful abilities in the game right now and possibly ever. 4 cards drawn at this point. Another VMAX Battle VIP Pass, which we know can't be played. And is that an Avery in hand? That could be pretty decent right now, forcing Piper to discard a Sobble.
Especially with that Mew in the active as well, something that, really doesn't want to sit there too long, I don't think. The Rotom phone coming through for Isaac, grabbing a card very, very quickly, and something he's going to be able to grab immediately with that Fusion Strike system. So that goes onto the top. The next Mew VMAX goes down onto the Mew V. The hand is down to 4. So drawing 2 more, one of the cards he knows about, and the Double Turbo Energies.
Double Turbo.
Yep, it's 2 of them. And of course, now going to be able to start swinging quite nicely into this Mew, but no use of a supporter right now. I think Isaac, just weighing his options a little bit here before he commits the attack.
And this would be a great turn for Amarni as well. Piper is sitting on a pretty large hand. Ooh, and are we seeing the Cross Fusion Strike copying the Glistening Droplets? The attack on Oricorio.
This is actually something I noticed him doing a lot in his top 8 match. Wasn't just swinging for the knockouts, being a little more diligent about it, trying to avoid activating that Radiant Charizard too easily, because as soon as you get 1, 2, then the Radiant Charizard can just roar back and really do that damage. But the Glistening Droplets could make these turns a little bit harder, kind of forcing Piper to evolve, and then on the turn where you take the prizes, you're kind of really damaging the whole board at once.
And the real problem for this strategy, though, from Isaac is that Piper loves to evolve all of her Pokemon up into Pokemon that have higher hit points, and then also loves to play Scoop Up Net on them to pick them up. So it almost erases an entire turn of attacking from Isaac. Yeah,
it could be easily removed. How many Glistening Droplets is it going to take to knock out this Inteleon? Quite a lot, with only 20 going down on it right now. That's going to be really big. Of course, the Shady Dealings from putting that into play grabs the Cross Switcher and the Energy Search as well. Oh, there is that Scoop Up Net. So that damage already gone. Sobble goes back down. Drizzile going back down for another Shady Dealings. Piper's just going to be able to grab so many pieces of this combo that are needed.
And this is what Piper's deck loves to do, build up a large hand size, being able to fill it up turn after turn with Shady Dealings after Shady Dealings after Shady Dealings so that she can respond to whatever Isaac does on his side of the field.
Yep, the Air Balloon coming through from that first Shady Dealings, being able to kind of keep going on that one. And that deck for Piper is already looking rather thin, so finding the pieces not going to be the big concern, and that hand is looking pretty significant as well. Piper, of course, attaching the Air Balloon to the Mew that's stuck in the active, and a pass. So Isaac's Glistening Droplets only leaving 3 damage counters on this Sobble.
So he will be able to take a knockout on it now with another Glistening Droplet, so he'll at least score a KO there. But I'm almost wondering if it's more valuable to take out this Mew now, especially that it has an Air Balloon. And I think that's why Piper has gone ahead and attached it, forcing Isaac to either choose, okay, you can KO a Sobble on the bench, or you have to take out my pivot with this Mew.
Yep, and the Marnie cutting Piper's massive hand down that she'd accrued over the last few turns with all of those Shady Dealings and the Iridas as well, dropping her right back down to 4. Of course, knowing that the Inteleon was in hand as well from that Scoop Up Net last turn, getting rid of that, a really, really big help. And honestly, Piper's hand not looking so hot now after that Marnie.
Her hand is not looking good at all. She's really going to be riding on this Mew, so I bet she is crossing her fingers right now that Glistening Droplets is what Isaac is hoping to do here.
Yeah, and Isaac going back in the deck, trying to have another look through, not taking anything on this one, though. His deck's also pretty thin. I mean, both of these trainers absolutely rattle through. The Quick Ball was the choice there, and, just not required. Just making sure that you're thinning the hand a little bit more before you use this Fusion Strike system. So Fusion Strike for 3 cards, back up to the full handful of 6. Definitely gets you out of a Marnie. If you have a bad Marnie, at least you've got an opportunity to maybe draw up your hand. He's got all the pieces right now. The Mews are both evolved, both powered up with those double turbo energies. Feeling pretty good about this one. So is able to decide what to do. Is going to be another Glistening Droplets, I believe. Yeah, just not taking the knockout. Isaac's holding off on those.
And Piper does find the Drizzile off the top deck. That will be very useful, but not before using Mysterious Tail looking at the top 6 cards, and does find a Scoop Up Net, which could heal this little Sobble from all the damage it's accrued.
Yeah, it is going to be evolved into the Drizzle first, though. That Drizzle could come right back into the hand and go onto the other Sobble if she wants to keep digging with the Shady Dealings, obviously. Evolution Incense is going to help finding pieces of the puzzle. It is going to be that Inteleon, another Shady Dealings, this time for 2 cards as well. So grabbing that Energy Search, and of course, let's see what else she goes with in this one. The deck's looking thin, but, you know, knowing that the combo is there to maybe take the first knockout of the game. Going to be the Magma Basin on this one.
And I wonder if she'll, this turn, choose to attack with Inteleon and at the same time put an energy on her Radiant Charizard. Looks like she's deciding against the Magma Basin now, going back for a cross switcher. So many different options when you're playing Inteleon. It's always really difficult to navigate exactly how you want to play each turn.
Yeah, there's so many options, and it does show the mark of a truly top player, those who are able to correctly pick what they need off every Shady Dealings, thinking not only about the current turn, but also the future turns as well. If there's no disruption coming through, you can grab something way more important for the following turn that could, you know, win you the game or put you in a huge advantage. But the Energy Search, grabbing another one of those water energies, that Inteleon is going to be good to go.
And I understand what Isaac is doing here with his line of play. He doesn't want to just feed into Piper's Charizard and really power up that Excited Heart ability, but at the same time, he's not putting on any pressure and allows Piper to take a few turns to get her board build up and then finally start swinging with this Aqua Bullet of Inteleon.
That is going to be the Aqua Bullet that doesn't get to do anything to the bench. That lesson in Zeal being so important here. And being able to get rid of that Oricorio would be huge as well. But of course, Piper needs pieces to get there. Needs to be able to, you know, maybe try and catch something off guard a little bit and cause some problems that way. But this Inteleon in the active is causing problems. And now another glistening droplets. Oricorio being a real focal point of this deck. And Isaac just spreading the damage down, not getting knockouts, not feeding into that Charizard strategy, and making sure that everything has a little bit of damage. So it's going to be 3 there and 2 on the Mew as well. The Mew not getting knocked out right now, though.
So Isaac really playing cautiously, really taking his time, wanting to spread the damage and then maybe build things up to a point where he can take multiple prizes in a turn, I guess, and at the same time disrupt Piper. But anytime any of her Pokemon are that close to being KO'd, she can always play the Scoop Up Net to pick them up if she wants to. At this point, though, she is really not feeling the pressure and can just keep happily swinging for 100 with Aqua Bullets.
It's going to be the Shady Dealings for 2 cards this time, being able to grab the Irida and the Quick Ball off that one as the Inteleon hit the bench, making that even further away as a potential out. The Scoop Up Net gets rid of that damage. The Drizzle that went back into the hand immediately down for another Shady Dealings. So Piper just grabbing every little piece that she would like in this one. It's going to be the Tool Scrapper in this instance as well.
Just a Quick Ball it away. What a luxury here, having everything you need already. You can just grab cards with Shady Dealings to discard.
Yeah, and thin them out the deck as well. You don't want them popping up later if you're really trying to dig through for something. The Radiant Charizard finally hits the bench, and that is something that I think, you know, Isaac's going to want to be wary of. It's not like he didn't know it was there, but now it's been revealed and confirmed. So there is going to be that Sobble going back down. There's the Magma Basin, finally. So being able to, you know, attach into the Charizard, get an energy on it for free, but it is going to be causing a little bit of a problem. So the, you know, it does have to put the damage counters down. Thank you very much. Tidy that one up, and another 100, of course, from the Aqua Bullet.
And now back over to Isaac. 2 Mew VMAX in play, a couple of Genesects as well. The Oricorio, which is becoming the main attacker, it seems, does start things off by bumping Piper's Magma Basin with the Pokestop. One of the most influential cards from the recent Pokemon Go expansion, and it works so well in this Mew deck that plays such a heavy count of these item cards.
Oh yeah, the Pokestop's been absolutely huge for so many trainers over the course of the weekend, finding those missing pieces, finding stuff that you've put on top of the deck as well with something like the Rotom Phone. Just being able to keep drawing through your deck is absolutely huge, finding all the pieces all the time. And it looks like it's just going to be a scoop for Isaac, realizing that maybe he's a little bit behind the pace on this one.
I think Isaac is recognizing that this is a tough matchup for him. He's trying to find a way to do something unique and spread the damage and let that be his strategy to come ahead in this unfavorable matchup. But in the end, Piper can just put on just enough pressure with the Aqua Bullet of Inteleon.
And the you know, the Aqua Bullet would get there eventually, very, very slowly, but it would get those knockouts. And, you know, while he's not taking any prizes, those Aqua Bullets are looking to getting closer to a 3-prize knockout as well. So really, really great play. Isaac trying this alternative strategy and it not working. So maybe back to the drawing board for game 2 and just targeting down some of Piper's Pokemon. He is being very cautious. He does not want this Charizard to be going crazy for low energy costs. But I just don't think it was enough pressure at all with Piper being smart. As you said, scoop up net whenever something gets in danger. Evolving it if something gets in danger. I mean, it's a lot of glistening droplets to knock out an Inteleon.
Yeah, it takes quite a while. It's a 4-hit KO if you're putting all the damage on that Inteleon every single turn. And we saw Isaac was obviously spreading things out, really trying to math things out. A lot of times I think players approach these type of unfavorable matchups and try to big brain it, right? Think really far ahead and say, okay, in 7 turns, if I can spread enough, maybe I can make this strategy happen. I almost feel like Isaac's better strategy would just to be super aggressive and hope that he can aggress Piper out of the game. If he can take KOs on Sobbles before she can really get set up and maybe take advantage of a fact if she has a slow start, that would maybe be his best path to victory. We'll see if he makes an adjustment here for the second game.
Well, getting rid of the Sobbles, even getting rid of the Inteleons, gets rid of key pieces that she would need to maybe hit that guaranteed easy Charizard and bring back that Charizard multiple times at the end of the game. There is going to be a couple of noticeable prizes here for Piper. The Choice Belts, both in there, along with a Mew and an Air Balloon, a Tool Scrapper, and a Magma Basin as well. So a number of pieces missing. And opening with the Manaphy, not the finest open for this deck, but it does mean your Sobbles are going to be able to hit the bench. Piper's hand not looking so hot, but we are starting with Isaac, taking that traditional turn 1 start with the Mew, gets double turbo energy down on it to begin with, a Genesect V on the bench, and a number of options in the hand as well. So the Choice Belt, an easy discard for the Ultra Ball. Has to decide what the second one's going to be, mulling it over a little bit here. It's going to be, I think, yeah, he's getting rid of the Cram-O-Matic.
Always a tough call. You hate to lose a Cram-O-Matic because it can be such a powerful card, but of course it is a flip effect. There is always the chance that you could utilize this card and you flip tails and get nothing from it.
Yeah, but at least you see in your hand. That's a nice bonus.
It is definitely a bonus
for the Fusion Strike system.
Yes, definitely, especially in this deck. Like you mentioned, Fusion Strike system wanting you to have a low hand size so that you can fill it up turn after turn after turn. Isaac now with the Ultra Ball, just grabbing out a Genesect. 2 on the bench now with the Mew V in the active. We can see a Fusion Strike system for 1, and undoubtedly here Isaac will be looking for the Battle VIP Pass, hoping to load the bench up with a bunch of Pokemon so that he can draw through. Let's see it. 1-card draw.
It's the Mew, and he gets the second one.
2
so
more.
It's a 2-card. There's another Genesect,
Not
a
bad.
Trekking Shoes. He's just digging so hard at this point. He has a Mew VMAX in hand too and a Cross Switcher, which obviously no use on this one. But at least, you know, if he takes this card, he's putting himself a potential just 2 Fusion Strike system for the 3rd time. He discards the Power Tablet. He draws a Quick Ball. The Quick Ball will get him down to a hand of 1 if he would like. But yeah, he's used 2 already, marking those nice and neatly for us. He's mulling it over. He did give up the Cross Switches very easily last game, and it's going to be 2 cards off this one. It's going to be the Pokestop and the Power Tablet as well. But that's it for draw. He's played everything he can this turn, I believe. And maybe the Quick Ball could come through, but it's a little bit too late to really access the Fusion Strike system with it, and he passes it over to Piper.
And Piper's hand does have an Irida in it. That can at least get something going for her. And with a Scoop Up Net and Energy Search, we will, at minimum, I think, this turn see a Keep Calling.
Yeah, the Irida is going to be a nice, easy one there to make sure that the beginning of this deck comes to fruition. Getting the Sobble drawn to the front right away, checking through the deck as one does, checking another Sobble. I believe there's going to be another Sobble searched out anyway, so may as well get those on the front. There's all of the Sobbles being counted. There's none in the prize. Is there one in the prizes this game? I believe there is, yes.
I think it's a Mew, actually.
Oh, no, it is the Mew.
There.
My apologies.
Yes.
It is the Mew. Taking a look down. So, yeah, the Sobbles coming through. I got confused with the round head of Sobble and the round tail of Mew. It's my apologies on that one.
That key one of Mew as well is something that she may want to fetch out at some point with the Hisuian Heavy Ball. We saw how useful of a pivot it was for her in Game 1. That Mysterious Tail ability, so powerful, just to get you a little extra reach.
Yep, well, Sobble is going to get its energy attachment this turn with that Energy Search, grabbing a Water Energy. There is the Evolution Incense for next turn. The Scoop Up Net puts the Manaphy back into the hand, and then it's just going to be a Keep Calling.
Yes.
to round out this turn for Piper.
Very nice, and chooses not to re-bench the Manaphy. Obviously not useful in this matchup, and not worried about having her lone Sobble KO'd since Keep Calling brings 3 more down. And now we kick it back over to Isaac. Let's see if he goes with the same strategy. He's got 1 bench spot open and a quick ball in hand. You think he's going for Oricorio once again?
I think he's going to do it. I mean, it was his strategy I watched at the table during top 8 pretty consistently, and this Glistening Droplets play, you know, does want to get it down, maybe say to Piper, I don't think you're going to be able to evolve all the Sobble as quickly. That is going to be a Cramomatic, discarding the Power Tablet, and heads on this one. So able to go in the deck and grab whatever he needs to complete these puzzle pieces.
Able to grab out anything he wants at this point. I do believe the Mew VMAX is already sitting in hand, and I do believe there was the Quick Ball. So could just go for another energy attachment. No real reason to go for any combo thing like a cross switcher. Obviously, there's just 4 Sobbles in play for Piper.
Yep.
And we know that Isaac isn't really going to be that aggressive, most likely in this matchup, depending on if he keeps to his original strategy.
It could be a hard pivot into something to really get things going, right? You know, I mean, a Technoblast is a little bit overkill, but it would definitely get a knockout. And getting rid of those Sobbles is really big, because the less Sobbles there are, the less things there are that can become an Inteleon.
Absolutely. So he's got 1 card chosen, debating if he wants to go back into the deck. It looks like Double Turbo Energy was just the grab, wanting to go ahead and get another attachment, and Quick Ball does grab the Oricorio out of the deck.
That's exactly Isaac's line, and he's sticking with it. Even though it didn't work out from game 1, he is confident that this is the way to play this matchup. I mean, it worked out. He did manage to navigate his way through top 8, so, you know, playing up against a very, very similar matchup in the Radiant Charizard. So if it worked from there, why wouldn't it work for him here? Attachment onto the Mew, and he's going to start with the Fusion Strike systems. That's going to be a Fusion Strike system for 5 cards.
A bunch of cards off of the first one, and that is just the first Fusion Strike system. Access to 2 more, assuming he can thin the hand down a bit.
Thinning it down with the Choice Belt, not really going to matter too much, but at least it's a card out the hand. It's not like it's being used for its effect, but it's out of the hand as well. There's a Pal Pad in there, along with the Avery. The Avery not going to do any discard on this turn, so would be nice to save that one a little bit, but it does limit the use of the Fusion Strike system. Could also play down the Poker Stop, but it's just going to Fusion Strike system for 1. It's going to be another one of the Mew Vs. Both of those kind of clogging up the hand a little bit right now.
Clogging up the hand, and that's one of the issues with this Mew VMAX deck sometimes. If you don't find your Ultra Balls to thin these Pokemon out, you've only got 5 bench spots. And Isaac is actually going aggressive here. Takes the KO with the Cross Fusion Strike, copying Technoblast. Down goes Sobble, and Isaac takes the first prize.
Yep, Isaac taking another one of the Pokestops off the prizes, though. So not being in the finest position to keep thinning that hand. His hand looking really full. And so if he's not able to, you know, switch things around, then, you know, he's going to be able to run into some issues. But the Evolution Incense comes through from Piper. Going to be able to turn some of these Sobbles into a Drizzile, maybe able to just chain those as well with Shady Dealings, Shady Dealings, Shady Dealings, and cause problems that way. So the first Drizzile comes through. There's the Shady Dealings for the Irida. The Irida is going to grab a Drizzile and an Energy Search. The Energy Search is going to grab the Fire Energy. And we're going to get a moment of reprieve as Piper figures out what's next before this Drizzile goes down and we see another Shady Dealings.
Yeah, I wonder if there's a play where she could have gone for a Raihan this turn instead of Irida and gotten off an attack with the Aqua Bullet. She really just must not be feeling the pressure to do that, though. Even though Isaac has started attacking, she's okay if she doesn't start swinging this turn just yet. We'll just get the Charizard down, start powering it up, and just prepare for what Isaac may have in the future.
Yep, and there is the Drizzile, Shady Dealings. Going to go grab that Evolution Incense on this turn. And then, you know, doesn't look like we're going back in. There is a shuffle now, so maybe just pausing on that one for the following turn. But the Charizard hitting the bench, once again, makes Isaac scared that if he just takes too many prizes, that Charizard is going to be able to swing for him. That said, Isaac hasn't been as liberal with the cross switches this time, so does have access to maybe try and pull that up early and knock that one out quite readily.
And Piper, with the energy on the Charizard, will make it much easier for her to attack with it on the next turn. If Isaac assumedly takes another KO, it would mean she just needs 2 more energy, which can be supplied by the 1 copy of Twin Energy he has access to. But Isaac will play the cross switchers, bringing this up and wanting to target it down. Yeah,
wants to get rid of it very, very quickly. Doesn't want to be messing around. But you know about that Evolution Incense in the hand. and that may be something like, I mean, with the energy getting dropped, that's going to be a problem. The Avery's not going to get the discard, but it's going to be 3 more cards for Isaac, and this is a big old hand for a Mew player. No access to the Fusion Strike system, but will be wanting to get that Mew out of there, go back into the Mew VMAX, and just take another one of these knockouts with the Techno Blast being copied.
And could use the Pokestop here, trying to find an Ultra Ball, something like that, a way to thin the hand down, maybe get another VMAX in play. But for now, he is content just holding on to what he's got.
Yeah, it's just going to be the free retreat into the Mew VMAX. That does have all of the requirements now. It's been taken back off the bench. The Pokestop finally hits the field. I do like that one quite a lot. And Pokestop's going with a Quick Ball. That's going to help thin. A Quick Ball is going to help thin. And an Ultra Ball is going to help thin even more. Isaac able to drop 4 cards from his hand if he doesn't require them and get going with those Fusion Strike systems.
We thought this turn was almost over, and then after that Pokestop, we may be here for a minute, Adam.
Yeah, well, the Ultra Ball is going to be the selection for Isaac that's come to the front of the hand. And he's looking at what's in there, what he doesn't need any longer. He's going to play that down. The Mew V probably only needs 2 of those in this game anyway, unless he's trying to find a late option. And it's going to be the Genesect going in first. And there it is, the Mew V. Finally confirmed. So he's thinning out the hand, is going to be able to get that Mew VMAX, which is immediately going to get played down onto the Mew V, and his hand's already looking a little bit thinner. The Quick Balls can get rid of some of the other stuff in there that he really doesn't want to be holding on to.
Shuffling the deck up now. This Mew has retreated and come back into the active, so it is ready to attack, even though Cross Fusion Strike did copy the Techno Blast on the last turn. I also wonder if maybe this is an opportunity for Isaac to use these cross switchers and then now go for his glistening droplets play, or will he just go for the knockout? And that is indeed what he does.
No, and he takes the boss's orders this time. So plenty of options there. Down to just the 2 Drizzle and the Sobble for Piper, but this deck does have the opportunity to swing back rapidly. Evolution Incense coming through right away, and as she's already pulling other cards, the combo will be coming through as it's going to be the Raihan immediately drawn off that Shady Dealings for 2 options from this deck. Just mulling over number 2.
Also has access to maybe grabbing something like a Scoop Up Net or an Evolution Incense to use another Intellion this turn. Potentially that other Drizzile was already in play as well. It does make things a little awkward that the Charizard is in the discard pile because Piper can't Clara and then Raihan, right? Can only play 1 supporter a turn, so she's got to fetch the Ordinary Rod with this Shady Dealings and then maybe find a Quick Ball to get it back, or just go in with the Aqua Bullet. This also works as well. Of course, you cannot one-hit KO the Mew VMAX with the Charizard. It only deals 280 damage when it has a Choice Belt attached. And the Aqua Bullet will soften it up.
Yeah, definitely softening it up is going to be the order of the day here. And you're not going to be able to get any spread down from the Aqua Bullet because of the Oricorio's lesson in Zeal. So the second portion of Raihan being completed now. Searching out the deck for any card to put in the hand. It looks like the Evolution Incense was there. The Energy Search makes a lot of sense, though. Get that next attack out and start Aqua Bulleting right away. There is, of course, going to be that put in the hand. The Ordinary Rod comes through, so that Radiant Charizard got to be a candidate, along with that other Sobble as well. That's going to get shuffled back into the deck. It doesn't look like any energy left to be able to put in there, but Piper, before she completes this play, is going to be just checking the discard of Isaac.
Yeah, has the 1 fire energy in her discard pile, but wisely chooses not to put it back because she wants to keep that as a live attachment from the Magma Basin Stadium for later in the future. So no reason to throw it back into the deck. You're going to have easy access to it later on.
Oh yeah, that's where you want it to be. So you can Magma Basin and some other shenanigans as well. There is now both the energy down onto this Intellion, so Aqua Bullet is certainly an option. And there's the Declare, 100 damage being put down onto this Mew VMAX. This is where Piper needs to start rolling. You know, got the Charizard back in the deck. That's going to be absolutely huge. And, of course, options for the rest of the game. So just tidying up the board a little bit. Isaac taking a peek at the discard, just trying to see where her lines of play are and if there's any resources he's truly got rid of.
Isaac was asking Piper how many cards she had in hand, so that tells me he's really thinking about going for a Marnie play this turn, trying to disrupt what she has available. But little does Isaac know, Piper's hand is actually not the strongest. It's okay. She's got Rescue Carry to maybe get back some Sobble pieces and Evolution Incense to get out Intellion, so it's really all she needs. But it's also the type of hand where putting the bunch of 6 cards, whatever it may be, onto the bottom of the deck is still going to be okay.
Yeah, very clean play here from Isaac, showing the Quick Ball and the 3 associated discards that he's going with. So that first Quick Ball is going to be the Pokestop getting discarded. Then the second Quick Ball is going to be the Mew V being discarded, checking the discard before he makes his choice on this one. as he does look like he's going to be checking a discard once again. Obviously, he knows he's got the power pad in hand, so could be a little liberal with discarding those supporters as well. And the boss's orders hits there. So 3 quick balls coming through. Isaac is going to go through the deck, but of course, no basics remaining, I don't think, that he can actually grab. And just failing that one, thinning the hand beautifully, though. That is going to be a follow-up of the PAL pad, so that boss can go right back in, and potentially that Marnie that you were talking about as well. But looks like he's just mulling it over, just making sure it's all getting put in the deck.
And then we will maybe see some Fusion Strike systems, maybe digging for the Marnie. Might not quite have it in the hand yet. Would love an opportunity to disrupt, slow Piper down a little bit, and take a knockout on Inteleon. So Scoop Up Net is no longer an out for her to do a bunch of things with Shady Dealings.
Yeah, definitely a number of things that Piper's shown go into the hand, right? Like the Evolution Incense was pulled, but not used. And I think that's something Isaac's very aware of and a little bit scared of. It does start off with the Fusion Strike system. There's a Chromatic in hand, a Switch, a Trekking Shoes, and a Power Tablet. Plenty of options here to try and play that card. So it is going to be the Trekking Shoes. That's going to pull out a Cross Switcher. Of course, don't forget, Isaac does need to make sure this Mew changes position. But the second Mew already done is going to be a big thing. There is a Heads on the Chromatic, though, and that's going to be allowing him to go in and grab 1 card of his choosing.
Yeah, we'll see what this was. Is it the Marnie? It is indeed ready to go with that disruption, hoping to stick Piper with an unfortunate set of 4 cards. This can be the strategy you have to go for against these Inteleon decks. They love to amass large hand sizes so they can piece together all kinds of combos. So putting them to just 4 cards can be really strong.
Yeah, let's see what this comes through with. The trainer's not deciding to mess around with the hands on 4 cards off the top for Piper. It's going to be the level ball. I believe we've got
Inteleon.
Yeah, the Inteleon, the Hisuian heavy ball, and finally the twin energy.
Yeah, plenty for Piper to work with here. I think she'll be just fine. Isaac will retreat now into the other Mew VMAX.
Yep.
Throwing it up to the active spot. It can take a knockout here on Inteleon.
And that's going to be big because that leaves Piper staring down the Mew with no damage on it either, which means that Charizard, the Radiant Charizard, isn't going to be able to get that knockout on the one that was softened up. So it may be another Aqua Bullet play if that's something that can be reached by Piper on this turn. And then, of course, you've kind of just got a couple turns left to just Radiant Charizard for knockout and knockout for 3 prizes apiece.
And I think that is maybe what Piper is trying to set up, just KOing 2 VMAX Pokemon. That does open up the possibility for Isaac to maybe pull off a Psychic Leap play to heal one of these Mews completely, so it's a little risky. But if Isaac goes for that, it theoretically would give Piper time to go chase after the Oricorio, chase after a Genesect.
Well, he's also been pretty liberal with the Mews as well. Now that it leads to a setup, you know, throwing a couple Mews away into the discard.
That's true.
So even if he does, you know, get knocked out, he needs the bench space, so he needs to, you know, be able to get one to copy the Psychic Leap.
And I actually think, now that you say that, I do think he has discarded his other 2 Mew V. So it would have to be a Silene or something like that if he even wanted to go for Psychic Leap. That's a great point.
Yeah, that is going to be the knockout on to the Inteleon there. So Isaac down to just 3 prizes. That Radiant Charizard looking pretty good right now when it comes to being able to get easy attacks off. But it definitely requires another Aqua Bullet, I think. That's going to be the big thing. And Piper's hand looking a little bit scant at the moment. Of course, being able to get that extra Inteleon down, very, very helpful. It's going to be the Raihan and the Quick Ball. I do really like that as an option here. There is the, there's the Quick Ball discarding the Hisuian Heavy Ball. So knowing that only the Mews in the prizes, that's not going to be valuable. That can be got rid of. And there is the Raihan. So the Raihan going in, grabbing that energy from the discard.
Is it Charizard time?
It might be Charizard time, but the Charizard's not going to... Oh, she can go and grab other pieces.
Yes.
The Scoop Up Net, get down the Sobble. Then you're going to get another Sobble down. Another Shady Dealings could go grab that other bit of the Cross Switcher and get that 3-prize knockout.
This is exactly what she's going for. She's got the Twin Energy already in hand to supply the rest of the energies needed. Of course, Excited Heart being activated now that Isaac has taken 3 prizes. She only needs 2 energies on this Charizard in order to take the KO, and I think she's targeting down this Mew VMAX on the bench.
Yeah, beautiful sequencing by Piper to get the max out of this turn. Keep things going with all of the pieces. Make sure that the Drizzar's in the active. There's the attach of the Twin Energy, the Double Cross Switcher, the earlier Aqua Bullet has come through, and even though he's leaving the damage down, there it is. 3 prizes to Piper Lepine, easily leveling up this prize count.
All of a sudden, the game is all tied up. Isaac Milaski with a Mew VMAX in the active, Piper just one VMAX KO away from becoming a regional champion here in Baltimore. Isaac's going to do everything he can to fight back in this one. And it's going to be a long path for him to do it. And starting with a Chromatic Tails this turn is not helpful.
No, it's not at all. That's a big hand as well. Not being able to maybe play through all of it. Forced into the Marnie. That's another big Marnie. But Piper seems to be able to be getting out of these pretty effectively. So this deck running at optimal speed. Both trainers drawing up, 4 for Piper, 5 for Isaac.
And I think what Isaac is hoping here, like he knows that there's an Intellion in the discard pile, and now he knows there's one on the bottom of the deck. So just maybe Piper won't find a way to get into one.
She's got a way to get one.
And we see the Evolution Incense already in hand. And there is a painful discard as well on the Pokestop, getting rid of an energy and a boss, and only getting a Battle VIP pass, which is equally useless.
Yeah, not a great Pokestop here for Isaac Milaski, looking up against it. Of course, we'll be able to take out this Charizard. The Technoblast, a very easy option right there. And yeah, just knocking that out, saying to Piper, I don't think you're going to be able to get it. But Piper has so many outs here. That Intellion that was put on the bottom of the deck, easily searchable by this Evolution Incense. That's going to be a Shady Dealings for 2. And the pieces are going to keep on coming here for Piper Lepine. So being able to, maybe just throw in the Aqua Bullet and get something, even the pieces to get that Charizard in the final turn for the big finish would be really, really big.
She's almost at the point where she could just use Clara 2 times and get Charizard back twice and use the Radiant Charizard to 2-hit KO the active. Aqua Bullet, of course, is also an option to soften this active up. Maybe she would like to try to play around any sort of crazy Silene into Psychic Leap plays, and if that's the case, we could see some cross switchers after Genesect and, try to KO a Genesect, then KO Oricorio. That's a lot more to piece together, though.
Well, the Clara's coming to the front of the deck as well, so your play may be on. I think if you put the damage down with the Aqua Bullet on the Mew, though, I mean, you've got to do a lot to get that Mew out of there. There's an escape rope coming to the fore to go the second card of that Shady Dealing. So this Intellion has done a lot of work right now. There are, of course, more Sobbles that can go down. There's the Clara.
This is
Charizard
so smart.
energy.
And I think Piper here is going to be playing around the potential of a Psychic Leap play. Isaac does have 3 Mew V in the discard pile, but with a Silene could bring them back and put it back into the deck. So that would take away her win condition and put Isaac down to just 1 prize. So this is very, very smart. Playing this rope forces a Pokemon into the active that Piper can easily KO, be it Oricorio or Genesect, and then it's easy for her to finish up the game on the next turn by finding a boss's orders, provided she can bring the Charizard back once more.
Yep, there's the escape rope into the Charizard. The scoop up net just coming down on that fully stacked Intellion, but it's now time to start the cycle all over again. Absolute mastery of the deck, honestly, with how well she's been able to chain off these Shady Dealings. Another scoop up net coming to the hand, being able to just keep on going for this one. But checking the hand, making sure all the pieces are going to flow just as intended. I do like this play a lot. With the escape rope, makes a lot of sense to make that Clara play. The rare Candy coming in to the hand, it looks like, just making sure that everything is well done. The Quick Ball discarding the Manaphy right here. It's going to be the Mew coming through. That was pulled out of the prizes a little bit earlier for those 3 prizes she took for the Mew VMAX. And like you say, there's no Psychic Leap plays super available right now.
Yeah, and it's not even that good at this point since she's not swung into the Mew VMAX. By grabbing the Mew here as well on Piper's side, she's prepping for the worst-case scenario, another Marnie from Isaac Milaski, another disruption option, so she will at least have that piece to promote, use the Mysterious Tail, and hopefully that could get her out of a tough spot. Yeah,
and that Mysterious Tail, there's still an air balloon as well that could be found. It's going to be just the quick knockout there onto the Oricorio, so the Lesson in Zeal is gone. Not that it really matters all that much.
And now over to Isaac, who's just trying to piece it together. He's gotten this game to 2 prizes apiece. It is so close here at this point as far as the prize count is concerned. But the favor is definitely with Piper Lepine in this spot.
Yeah, I mean, he's going for it with the Ultra Ball, discarding those 2 Battle VIP passes, taking nothing off it. He's down to so few cards in deck, and I don't know if any of those cards are going to be able to get him out of this situation. Obviously, has to be cautious with the draws too. Can't be just ripping through that deck with no options to put cards back in. I believe that's 4 or 5 cards left for Isaac Milaski. Yeah, it looks like slightly off the table, but I want to say it's 5. It's 5 by the looks of things. Taking a look at our wider shot over here. Yeah, the game is coming really close, and Piper definitely having an option. Can she just grab a Genesect? You know, as long as the Charizard comes back, can you just grab a Genesect and get the knockout there?
Yes, that is the idea here. She's going to use her final Clara. She does play 2 copies of the card and then use cross switchers in order to bring up this Genesect to close the game out. We are seeing Isaac eye up the Silene, though. Maybe there is some play for him from the discard pile. It's going to start with at least 1 heads.
So just the one. Just
one more
item.
piece can come back here.
What can he grab, though, that is going to be able to get him out of this position? What one card can come back out of that discard to really save him in this situation? There's nothing, I think, that really looks all that tempting, and that's going to be a big problem. He goes to the discard. He's mulling it over. That is a massive discard pile. There's got to be something in there he wants.
You've got to think there's something that could help him here in this spot, but it is starting to seem more and more bleak, and Isaac is just searching and searching, trying to find an answer, and just an Ultra Ball as the grab is probably just going to be used as a way to thin the hand size down to draw more from Genesect here. Because there's no other Pokemon left in the deck, I don't think, at this point.
He has no way to get that Mew back. He's going to knock
the
out the Charizard.
And here it is, Piper Lepine going into the deck with the Inteleon. She's playing quickly. I feel like she thinks she's got it. Grabbing the Clara to the front. There's the cross switchers.
Yep, there's the Clara. And yeah, Clara brings that back, and there's the cross switcher play into the Genesect. Piper Lepine is your Baltimore regional champion. Wow, I mean, she turboed through it, but all the pieces were there.
Yes.
What a fantastic run. Another 2-0 here in Top Cut.
That mask can't hide it. She's got a big grin on her face. Piper Lepine now a regional champion with her Radiant Charizard deck. Congratulations. And of course, as well, congratulations to Isaac Milaski. Extremely well played. It's a tough spot. Definitely feels like a matchup that is not in his favor by any means. He did what he could, got it down really close in game number 2, but Piper had the combos, had the pieces to close it out, and she finds herself the Baltimore regional champion.
What phenomenal play in both games. I mean, Isaac tried 2 routes. He tried this slow play with the glistening droplets. That didn't work out, and as we talked about between game 1 and 2, we said go for it, go aggressive. But unfortunately, he played aggressive, he took those knockouts, and the Charizard was active pretty early on in that game. As soon as, you know, we got it down to 3 prizes, there's Fire and the Twin Energy, and once it went down to 4, yeah, every time that we got to that, you know, he was down to just 2 prizes remaining, but all she needed was the Clara every time, and then was able to do it. Every turn, I think those Shady Dealings just landed perfectly. Those disruption turns with the Marnies didn't stick either.
And that was really Isaac's one hope in that game too. Just maybe this 4-card hand from Piper isn't going to be good enough. Maybe there won't be an Inteleon out. But alas, Inteleon was found turn after turn after turn. And you can see why many players consider the Shady Dealings Inteleon consistency engine to be one of the best in the history of the Pokemon trading card game.
Oh, it's insane. And the fact that you can play it over and over again, we've got all the tools for it to be even better. Yes, if you just evolve everything up, you get a good amount of Shady Dealings. But as you're able to keep recycling them, and as we saw Piper do so expertly throughout that game, scoop up net, then use the Shady Dealings again, keep getting more pieces. You know, you've got the nice sort of staggered line that was just really perfectly executed. And it shows that, you know, when you put in the time, you put in the practice, once you understand this engine, you're going to be able to get those wins.
Absolutely. This list was popularized by Ross Coffin, who got top 16 at the World Championships just a few short weeks ago. And I think Radiant Charizard was one of these cards that when it came out, everyone recognized pretty quickly, this is a pretty strong card. It was just a matter of finding someone who could get a list that was really consistent, that could utilize this one single attacker turn after turn after turn. And Ross was kind of the first person to bring it to the forefront and say, okay, if I combo this with the one rare candy and can put on a little early game pressure with the Inteleon, that will allow me to build into my Charizard in the later game. And so many players took that strategy, adjusted it a little bit. Piper did make some changes from Ross's list. I don't think she's playing the Snorlax in here, which is something that Ross had access to, and probably a few other things as well, I would imagine. She put in the deck prep, made some changes, and put in the practice, and found herself becoming regional champion. Very well played.
And with that in mind, there's only one thing to do right now, and that is to talk to Piper herself and see how she's feeling coming off that huge regional win.
Hello everyone, it's Adam Watson again from the interview corner here with our newly crowned regional champion, Piper Lepine. How you feeling?
It feels amazing.
I know that this is a momentous occasion for you. The last interview you were talking about earlier, you did say that you broke the curse, won on stream, now you're back as a regional champion. I'm sure you feel unstoppable. What are you gonna do first?
I don't know. We're probably gonna go to the hotel and eat. We had to rebook our flights to tomorrow morning. Was not expecting to go this far, but
So even after this tournament, real life comes knocking. But when it comes to the Pokemon side of things, this Radiant Shard really showed up for you. I know you mentioned that you hadn't played on it a lot, but you've just been piloting it so well. Are there any changes you think you'd make to the deck, maybe to adapt it to the upcoming metagame? Or are you going to stick with this list?
yeah, I wouldn't play anything close to this exact list with the new set because of the new stadium, Lost City. But I think Radiant Shard has a lot of potential in the comfy Lost Zone Mirage Gate decks. So.
And if there were any other players who did want to pick up Radiant Zard, what advice would you give them? I mean, you played the deck so well all the way to this regional finals here and taking down the big win. Where do they start if they wanted to follow in your footsteps?
Yeah, so I would just say the two big things are just take your time with your plays. Don't rush because that's how you make the small mistakes, and those small mistakes add up a lot. And the other thing is if you're playing in a tournament setting, especially in best of threes, make sure you know when to scoop so that you have the time to finish all 3 games.
And when you were going up against this new Mew build, we saw the Oricorio with the glistening droplets trying to do some spread damage. Did that make you nervous at all, or were you always reliant on the scoop up next? Were you feeling confident that that card would be able to bail you out?
Yeah, I'm very confident in that matchup. I think that was the 6th one I've hit this tournament, and I've 2-0'd all of them. The best win condition Mew has against the deck is going second and you draw passing and them going with the Fusion Strike build, but they don't have the Fusion Strike, so they can't get that donk.
And so with the Mew matchup covered, this big tournament taken down, I know you're tired. It's been a long, grueling day. Is there anybody that you'd like to give a shout out to that maybe inspired you or did help you get a little bit of last-minute practice in for this event?
Yeah, I want to shout out Gamers Basement, especially Bodhi, who won in seniors, as well as Noah, Mikey, Jacob, Alex, Ian, Andrew. I think that's everyone who also did pretty well and helped me. And
nice. Sounds like you got a lot of people in your corner, and after this big win, I know we're going to have even more people rooting for you. I know I'm now a big fan of Piper the Machine. Once more, congratulations to you, and any final thoughts for the viewers at home?
No. Thank you.
Yeah, she's already spent a lot of time playing Pokemon, a lot of time sharing her thoughts, and we're going to let Piper ski-daddle so that she can celebrate her victory with her friends. Thank you once more. We're going to go right back to the desk.
Fantastic to hear from our first